Okay. Hey, I got quite a few views on my last video about dealing with a functional crackhead in your family. And yes, I'm going to be doing part two today. So, you guys are in for a treat. We discussed in our last session about how you have to get used to just crazy stuff. You know what I mean? You just get used to it. Just like the last session we talked about uh my brother, he's the functional crackhead in the family, and we talked about how he had worked his way up to 4 DUIs. But today we're gonna be touching on the subject a little lighter. I'm gonna get to more. I should have saved the DUI story for the last one, but today I'm gonna go on just a little light side of it. This guy, when did you have your last Jerry curl? Just think back, because I got to think back too. I'm thinking I was I 12? 12 would have been eighth grade. So I didn't have one in the eighth grade. I think it's in the seventh grade. Let me see. I'm thinking. Y'all think back. Think back. You can put your age down in the comments section. I'd like to know what year you had your last Jerry curl, guys. Mine was, I think, maybe 1977. No, because I would have only been 7. No, mine was like, I had to be about maybe like 11. So that would have been like 1981. That was the last time I had a Jerry curl. Because they just played out, right? They just played out. And then after a while, anybody with a Jerry curl, it would have been like a joke, right? You know, when my brother got his Jerry curl removed, just take a guess. Just take a wild guess. About 5 years ago. Yeah. I'm not trying to, sensationalize it or anything. Literally, just stopped wearing the Jerry curl. Yeah. Yeah, around the turn of the century. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, like, he used to come around me and like be like, look at how fly I am. You know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? You got a fucking Jerry curl, nigga. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And it's stuff like that. If you have somebody in your family, you'll get used to that shit. Like, I got used to seeing that nigga with a Jerry curl. Just all the time. Just up to recently. This like right before COVID hit. You know what I'm saying? This nigga still. And I'm like, man, it's sad because, see, like I was saying in my last series, when somebody starts smoking crack like that, whatever age they started smoking it at, they gonna be at that age for the rest of their life. Now they'll get older and they might learn new things and their conversation will change, but they still stuck back in that time. That's what crack does to you. You see what I mean? That's why some of them can barely talk. They can barely talk. They can barely function after a while. But see, now we talking about a certain type of crackhead. We're not talking about the crackhead you see just like on the street. This is a functional crackhead. And I want to be clear about that because there are a lot of people that have these functional crackheads working within their family, going to their jobs, things like that. You see what I mean? Speaking of job, this guy, right? I'm not exaggerating. I'm not. Like me, for instance, right? Let me give you an example. The kind of stuff I have to deal with this dude. I went across the country for about 10 years, teaching at some of the top tennis country clubs in the nation. Indoors, you name it. On the beach, you name it. I was in Virginia Beach. I was coaching right there, a block off the beach, off the ocean front, living on the ocean front. You see what I mean? And went up to, I was at Vermont at a ski resort, uh, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. I lived on Sullivan's Island, coached there. Um, where else did I go? I went some other place. Oh, Michigan. I went up to Michigan. I was gonna take that, but I felt like that was just a little too cold for me. Got an offer all the way out in North Dakota to be the head pro up there at the indoor center in Minot, North Dakota. They flew me up. I was gonna do it, but like I said, I just had so many places that I could go. I just decided not to. Club Med, you know what I mean? Um, I was gonna go to Club Med in what's it, Australia? I think it's Australia that I was gonna go to. But believe it or not, in Club Med, if you work there, you cannot take your car. And I was like, that's not gonna work because I'm gonna have to go somewhere to get my weed. I'm sorry. But anyway, back to the whole job thing. This guy, he's a dick handler. That's what I call it. Cause he like checks people's dicks and shit to make sure that they're okay. That's what he's like, a little nurse guy, right? So, um, the guy goes through about, I don't know, maybe I'm not trying to be funny, guys, at least 15 jobs. I don't think he could get another job in Minneapolis because there weren't any more hospitals that were available. You see what I mean? Like, he went through that many jobs. And it's those types of things where you get a call every 2 years, every 2, 3 years. Lost your job, you fired, you get it. Okay, you're gonna get another job now. Okay, we lost your job again. Okay, you're gonna get, we lost your job again, and it's always the other people's fault, of course, because these functional crackheads are never wrong. They're never wrong. If they are, you won't hear from them. Mm-mm. And I know we got a select group of people out here that this message is going to, but I want you to know that you're not alone. You see what I mean? You're not alone. I've been dealing with it now for 50 years, knowing this nigga. Straight up. Getting fired every 2 years. Then he gets to the point where there are no more hospitals left in Minneapolis, right? So then he says, you know what he says? I'm retired. what, what are you retiring from? You, you haven't been able to hold a job for 3 or 4 years. Like, what kind of retirement have you built up, bro? Who are you fooling? You see what I mean? Yeah, now you're living off this white lady, hoping that she don't throw his ass out. You see what I mean? Functional crackhead. When COVID hit, right, I was working here at Chastain Park in Atlanta. It's the most, pretty much, it is the most prestigious park here in Atlanta. It's where all the big concerts come. It's the dream job for a tennis coach because while I was coaching, I could hear like the concerts going on and everything. It's huge. And when COVID hit, I ended up having to stop, And so, I talked to my functional crackhead brother, and I told him that, I had to stop coaching and I was going to start day trading. Do you know what this motherfucker did? The person that got fired 15 times, you know what he did? Do you know anybody that's gotten fired 15 times? I don't. Him? I've never heard of anybody getting fired 15 times. Mm-mm. Especially not doing the same thing, right? You would think you... But this motherfucker had the nerve to call down to Chastain Park and find out if I was working there. Like, he didn't believe that I had gotten that gig working there. And he called down there. He lives in Minneapolis. You know, wouldn't you think I would be the one that would... He tells me that he got fired for some bullshit reason, right? Wouldn't I be the one calling up there to find out, like, yo, what the fuck is going on up there? Because this nigga been fired 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 times. What's going on? Wouldn't I be the one to call? See, that's when you know you got a functional crackhead in your family. And the shit that they do, you just get used to it. Like when he said he called my job, I was like, what the fuck you do that for? And then I just forgot about it until today. You see what I mean? Because I'm just used to that crackhead behavior. And if you're dealing with that, be patient with yourself and try and be patient with them. Because it's not going to stop. They going to be that way until you die, until they die. That's part of it. It's you're gonna have to learn acceptance. Learn acceptance, and you know, try to see if you can embarrass the hell out of them until they decide that they need to change. You see what I mean? That's the only way you can get somebody to stop smoking crack. You gotta make them feel like, hey, you know what? I'm a dumbass for doing this shit. Just like an alcoholic. I used to drink, right? After a while, I was like, man, I'm a fucking dumbass doing this shit. See, for crack, that shit could be a lifetime. It could take a whole lifetime. They might end up on their hospital bed before they be like, you know what? Maybe I don't need to be doing that. So anyway, this is my little crackhead series. Um, we're gonna be doing this throughout the week, and like I said, this is therapy for me. You know what I'm saying? So you guys enjoy your day, and you know who I am. Who am I? Mm-hmm. Baddest man on YouTube.